All right, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Rob Hill on the internet again. Um, Figured I'd do a little training tip Tuesday type videos, maybe for a little while, depending on how engagement goes, and just see how things work out. All right, so today's topic is going to be how to make sure you are staying in a calorie deficit, or in other words, kind of how to lose weight. I feel like it's a very big topic, especially since it's February 2nd, and I'm probably a little late to it. But there's probably some people that are out there with their New Year's resolution, being to lose, X amount of pounds by a certain amount of time. So I figured this would be a perfect topic to talk about because I've taken myself from 275 pounds down to 208 pounds at one point, bulked back up to 275 over the course of 2 years. Now I'm sitting back at 242. So I got a lot of experience when it comes to being in a calorie deficit and how to actually continue to maintain that calorie deficit. So let's dive in. So the first tip that I'm going to have in order to maintain that calorie deficit is going to be to make sure you are kind of offsetting your calories in the morning. Like when I say that, I don't necessarily mean don't eat until 3 o'clock in the afternoon and only eat in this window amount of time. What I'm trying to say there is like, by all means, if you want to eat breakfast, but then just know that there's probably going to be a bigger gap between breakfast and lunch, and then a bigger gap between lunch and dinner, depending on when you eat those. So, what I like to do is I like to eat breakfast in the morning, but I don't like to eat it when I'm at home. I like to push it instead of, eating at like 7 in the morning before I leave for work. I like to push it all the way until about like 9 a.m. when I'm at work. That way I can kind of allow myself to, hey, I'm not fully hungry yet, but let me eat this, then I'm really not hungry for a little while longer. After that, I usually, eat lunch around 12 ish, 11, 12, somewhere in there. Another, 50-gram protein meal. Usually I have about 40 to 60 grams of carbs in that meal, and it does me really, really well. That's usually the last thing I really have to eat before my pre workout meal, which is usually just a slice or two of sourdough bread. Keep it very simple, and yeah, that's what works for me. That I found out so far is just having a little something, some type of carbs structured heavily before and after my workout tends to be the most important thing when it comes to making sure my training's still going well, but also maintaining that calorie deficit. And the most important thing is to make sure that we are in that calorie deficit at all points of the day. Which brings me on to the nighttime cravings and things like that because I am guilty of them. It happens often. The one thing that you definitely have to know is that losing weight is definitely not a linear pattern. It is very up and down like a roller coaster. So, you know, when it comes to having those late night cravings, as long as it's not every single day and as long as you're not consuming 1 to 2,000 calories, which most people probably will, but as long as you can find ways around it, like eating a giant like tub of chocolate pudding or something very low calorie, like you can easily fit your big bag activities into your diet while still losing weight. I know there's probably a lot of people out there that are gonna hate on me for this one, but definitely caffeine helps me with staying in my calorie deficit. Whether it's coffee in the afternoon, in the morning, and an energy drink before I train, or if it's two energy drinks in the day, or whatever the route's gonna be. Caffeine is a natural hunger suppressant, so just naturally having in like I think 400 is the normal dosage before having any adverse effects for the human body. So you could consume two 200 milligram energy drinks a day and be okay. And that caffeine is going to help suppress your hunger so then you don't have those cravings. Plus, it's also like a fruity ish flavor 90% of the time, or some type of flavor that's not soda. So you're not going to have those cravings when it comes to soda. It's going to be a nice, refreshing carbonated beverage, but it's going to be kind of craving a lot of sweet cravings that you'll have because there's an energy drink flavor for I feel like everything. And that brings me on to the next part, soda. Another reason why most people can't lose weight is soda. It's literally soda, sweets, and just overeating. Which, I mean, the simplest way to put it, soda, just consume diet soda or a low calorie option. There's zero sugar tea, there's zero sugar lemonade, zero sugar everything. You can just find something that's not as fattening for you, that you're not consuming calories. And I don't want to hear anyone say that, they hate diet soda and they need to have regular soda. The diet Dr. Pepper does not taste much different than regular Dr. Pepper. Diet Coke and Coca Cola, yeah, I get that. But there are plenty of options out there that you can find a diet soda that you really enjoy. Just only buy that and you'll be perfectly fine. Gatorade's another great thing that they have Gatorade Zeros, and there's plenty of different beverage choices that are 0 calorie. And then when it comes to sweet treats, like I said, bowl of pudding is a great one. I like to do oatmeal sometimes, like honey and cinnamon and stuff like that. You just gotta make sure you weigh every little thing out before you consume it to make sure that it fits into your calorie needs for the day. And then overeating. Like some people are just overly greedy. Like you do not need to eat 5 plates of the Chinese buffet. I'm guilty of it. I've done it. You do not need to eat that much Chinese food in one sitting. You can go to the Chinese buffet instead of getting your sweet and sour chicken. You can just go get, shrimp, chicken and broccoli, and call it a day, and get a little bit of rice, and you'll be fine. There's a million different ways to go about things, and you don't have to force down an ungodly amount of food just because you want to. With that being said, calorie deficit's very easy. I would stick to mainly, lean protein sources. Potatoes and rice are your best friends when it comes to carb sources because you get a good amount of them when it comes to volume. Fats, eggs are amazing. Just eat eggs, some beef, some chicken, mix it up a little bit. You could have some salmon, some shrimp. There's a plethora of different like food options that you can eat. Calorie deficit is as easy as don't be greedy. Who cares? Find ways around the sweet treats, whether it's 0 sugar options, and just make sure you're not drinking your calories. Really, is the biggest thing. If you're not drinking your calories, there is so much of a chance of you actually like being in a calorie deficit without even trying. As long as you just start reducing your calories from what you started with, you're going to lose weight. So if you are somebody who drinks 3 cans of soda, you don't even have to go to diet soda. You could just consume your normal meals and just cut down 2 of those cans, cut 2 of those cans out, drink 1 can of regular soda a day. That's already going to save you around like 350, 400 calories. My dog is throwing stuff in the background. He looks crazy. That right there is going to be enough to start the fat loss journey and get you down pretty far. And then once you can't go down anymore, you cut out the extra 140 calorie last can of soda. Now you're in even more of a calorie deficit. And then say, your problem is, I don't know, sweet treats and stuff. You go from eating a chocolate lava cake at Applebee's and you change it up and you just eat 4 Oreos and you have a diet soda and you call it a day. It's really not that hard. It's very, very simple. A lot of people overcomplicate it because they don't have the willpower. Even if you don't have the willpower, there are so many different ways to do it. Just stop cheating stop cheating yourself and stop being lazy. Like that's really what it comes down to. Like there are so many ways to drop weight and it's actually very easy. You just have to be very, dedicated because it is easy to overeat. Stop indulging in all those foods 7 days a week and indulge in those foods that you enjoy 2 to 3 days out of the week, or eat them in smaller portions every single day. It really is not that hard. Like we can lose weight, we can gain weight. Like it's losing weight. If you're a bigger person, losing weight is significantly easier than gaining weight. I don't care what anybody says. That's my hot take. And yeah, if anyone wants to debate me about this, by all means, comments are open. You can send me a message. Maybe I could dive deeper into one of these YouTube videos and actually, explain even further of how to do the, calorie deficit with a whiteboard if I had to. But I think that's enough information right there. If anyone has any questions, please, by all means, shoot me a DM or a comment. Instagram's RHLifts, TikTok's RHLifts with an underscore at the end, and then you're watching this on YouTube. So just DM me on something, I'll answer. I'm more than happy to have a debate. So thanks, y'all.